Assalamu alaikum students, you are welcome to SPSC e-lessons. I hope all of you are fine and doing good. Today we will study the lesson which will help you in doing assignment number 5 of the subject chemistry. We are going to start a new chapter. It is chapter number 3 in your textbook and it is about the reactions of metals. But before starting the reactions of metals, firstly we will see what are metals, how do they look like and how do they behave. For that purpose, you must know what are metals. Have you ever seen metals around you? Yes, you have seen. You would have seen gold jewelry, copper wires, or the car's body parts which are made of steels, or aluminium windows or doors, or so many other things which are made of metal. So metal is all around you and you see it in your daily life. See how are metals different from non-metals. Let's do a slight comparison of metals with that of non-metals. So the elements are present either in the form of metals or non-metals. Metals have some characteristics, some specific characteristics, that is they have high melting points, they can reflect light, they can conduct electricity, their shapes can be changed by hammering without breaking, and they can be drawn into wires. There are some non-metals which have one or two of these properties, but the others are absent, so that's why they are called non-metals. For example, crystals can reflect light, they have shiny surfaces, but they cannot conduct electricity. Similarly, graphite can conduct electricity, but it is brittle, it breaks when it is hammered. Similarly, plastics can be drawn into threads which are similar to wires, but they do not conduct electricity, so we cannot say that these are metals. These are called non-metals because they are not having all these properties. Let's see the history of metals. Metals have been used by humans since Bronze Age. It means that since 4,000 years ago they have been used by humans. How do they use them? They extracted them from earth. The old people and the modern people also extract them from earth in the form of ores. Ores are what? Ores are the mixture of metal, non-metal and the compounds of metal which are present in the earth's crust. These are extracted. These are first mined from the earth, then the pure metal is extracted from the ores. Then the old people used to melt these ores and they used to make tools and weapons out of these metals. Let's see how metal can be used. Metal can be used either in its pure form, for example we use iron in its pure form, or it is used by making alloys. What are alloys? Alloys can be the mixture of two or more metals, or it can be a metal plus any other element or more elements. For example, steel. In steel there is a metal iron and the other element is carbon. When we see the unique behavior of metals, there comes a question in our mind that what makes them behave like this? So the answer is the arrangement of atoms in a metal. Atoms are arranged in a particular way and we call them the properties of metals. So let's study these properties. The very first property of metals which we are going to study is their density. It means that metals are dense. They are more denser than non-metals. What is dense or what is meant by denser is that their mass is accumulated or accommodated in a very small space. More dense means that a large mass is accumulated in a very small space. As you can see this box, it is 1 centimeter cubic. It means that its volume is 1 cubic centimeter And you can see that the density of copper is 9 gram per cubic centimeter and that of gold is 20 gram per centimeter cube. What is meant by 9 gram per centimeter cube? It means that 9 gram mass is accumulated only in this space. If this much bigger piece of a copper is weighed, it will weigh 9 grams. Similarly, this much bigger piece of gold will weigh 20 grams. So this shows you that the metals are very much dense. Secondly, the atoms are very closely packed. The second property of metals is that they are malleable and ductile. Malleable means when they are hammered, they can be transformed or changed into any other shape, and ductile means they can be drawn into wires. So these properties tell that they can easily be shaped by hammering and without breaking. Secondly, they can be pulled into long thin wires such as copper wires, which are present in your electricity cables. You can see here the arrangement of atoms in a piece of metal. They are arranged in 8 rows in this picture or this piece. When a force is applied here on the above portion, you can see that the above 4 layers have slipped past the next 4 layers. So in this way, atoms of the metal does not get break, rather they slip past each other and the metal is transformed or changed into any other shape. So the push and pull forces are when applied to the metal, they make the layers slip over each other. The third property of metal is that they conduct electricity and heat. We all know that they conduct electricity and heat, but how do they conduct and what makes them conduct heat and electricity? You can see the structure in the crystal of a metal. Atoms are arranged in such a way that they lose their outermost electrons. The positive signs you can see are the large metal ions. They are stationary, they are fixed, and they lose their outermost electrons. These electrons are free to move. They keep on moving in the whole lattice or in the whole crystal. So these electrons are then used to supply electricity and heat. The current when flows, it is transferred through these electrons, or when heat is transferred, it is also transferred through these electrons. So we can say that the metal ions are surrounded by a sea of electrons. Let's see the reactions of metals. How do metals react? We will see the reactions with 3 different type of reactants, such as we will see the reactions of metals with water, with acids, and with air or oxygen. So let's see, how do metals react with water? Different metals have different behavior when they are dropped into the water. Some of them react, some do not, some react slowly, some react faster. So let's see, we have some examples of sodium, potassium, magnesium and gold. You see that sodium and potassium react very violently. Violently means vigorously, or whenever they react, the reaction is somewhat explosive. It gives out a lot of heat energy. So this reaction gives out lots of hydrogen gas, and these two metals form their respective alkalis or bases. For example, sodium forms sodium hydroxide, potassium forms potassium hydroxide. Alright, then is magnesium. Magnesium do not react violently in cold water, rather it reacts very slowly in the cold water. But it reacts violently with the steam. So for magnesium, temperature matters. And temperature decides that how will it react with the reactant. Alright, it also produces its respective alkali, which is magnesium hydroxide, with the steam. Then is gold. Gold do not react at all, either with cold water or with the steam. So we can say as it is not reacting, we call such metals as unreactive metals. Let's see the behavior of metals, or how do metals react with the acids. Firstly, we have to see that metals should be allowed to react with the dilute acid, not with the concentrated acid. Dilute means a small amount of acid must be added in a large volume of water, so that the aggressive behavior of acid can be avoided. Then there are some unreactive metals which were not reacting with water. They also do not react with the acids. But there are some other metals such as magnesium which do not react with water, but it does react with acids and it produces lots of hydrogen gas. Then comes a category of very aggressive metals in acids. These metals react very violently, such that they should never be added into the acid. These are calcium, sodium and potassium. So different metals behave differently or react differently with acids. Let's see the behavior of metal in the presence of air or oxygen. You would have seen that we paint our gates and all the other items which are made of iron. Why do we do so? Because iron reacts slowly with the air and it gets rusted. So to avoid rusting, we paint the surface of iron. Similarly, there are many metals which react very slowly with the air or with the oxygen in the air. But there are some other elements such as magnesium which gets burnt easily in the presence of oxygen and it produces oxides. There are some more reactive metals, as we have been studying in the previous two behaviors, that calcium, sodium and potassium react very violently with water and with the acids. They react quickly with the oxygen but not as violently as they were behaving previously. Then comes gold and silver, which do not react at all with the oxygen or with the air, and they stay shiny in the presence of air as well. All about today's lesson. I hope you have understand all the points. Now you would be able to answer the questions in the assignment. See you in the next assignment, e-lesson. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.